Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, merci pour votre accueil chaleureux. Je suis honoré de prendre la parole devant de si grandes personnalités et de participer au nom de l'UNESCO aux célébrations du 50e anniversaire d'encyclique Pacem en Terris. La directrice générale tenait à participer à cette célébration. Elle est retenue par le débat du Conseil exécutif de l'UNESCO. Et j'ai le plaisir de vous délivrer le discours qu'elle aurait prononcé ce matin. C'est l'occasion de revenir sur un texte fondamental d'une grande force humaniste et spirituelle. Beaucoup l'ont déjà dit. La richesse de Pacem en Terris reste considérable aujourd'hui. En hommage à cette initiative du Conseil pontifical Justice et Paix, je voudrais me concentrer sur deux aspects du texte qui interpellent l'UNESCO. Je retiendrai deux choses. D'abord, c'est l'idée de progrès et le ton général du texte marqué par l'espérance. Ensuite, c'est l'idée chère à l'UNESCO. Le fondement de la paix ne réside pas dans les accords politiques, juridiques ou économiques, mais doivent s'ancrer dans l'esprit des hommes et des femmes, dans la conscience et le consentement intime. Je voudrais m'intéresser à ces deux points. Je dis qu'il y a une profonde espérance, pour être plus précis, une conviction que l'histoire est une marche en avant. Et je cite le texte. Paragraphe 40. La promotion économique et sociale. Paragraphe 44. Maintenant, c'est de propager l'idée d'égalité naturelle de tous les hommes. Paragraphe 45. Ils se rendent compte qu'il appartenait à une société de droits et de devoirs. Le texte Pacem en Terris pose de façon très claire que lorsque les humains prennent conscience de leurs droits, il n'y a pas de retour en arrière. Il peut y avoir des obstacles, des luttes, des difficultés, mais il n'y a pas de retour en arrière. C'est très sensible si l'on regarde l'histoire du racisme, de l'esclavage et dans le traité négrier. L'histoire d'Haïti est un symbole. En 2007-89, la Déclaration des droits de l'homme est écrite à Paris, principalement par des hommes blancs dans un contexte précis, en réponse à une situation précisée. Mais cette déclaration a traversé des mers de kilomètres au-delà de l'océan et parle directement aux esclaves noirs d'Amérique, dans les colonies françaises. Elles sont comme un réveil de conscience. Les esclaves ont attendu ce texte. Ils se sont dit, cette liberté n'est pas réservée aux Blancs. Elle est pour tout le monde. Elle est universelle. Les esclaves noirs d'Haïti sont révoltés contre l'armée la plus puissante du monde. À l'époque, l'armée de Napoléon. Ils sont libérés. Leur histoire et leur victoire sont une inspiration pour tout le peuple de la terre. Et c'est une leçon pour nous tous. Lorsque le don de l'humanité est formulé quelque part de l'espace et de la temps, il propage progressivement la somme de l'humanité. Il se propage grâce à la diffusion d'informations, grâce à la presse, aux journalistes, à l'Internet, grâce à la communication. Nous prenons conscience que faisons partie d'une seule humanité, que nos rêves ne sont pas différents, sauf que nous sommes noirs ou blancs, à l'est ou à l'ouest, au nord ou au sud. Ce mouvement est une force de développement, de solidarité, d'émancipation et finalement c'est une force de paix. Et c'est pourquoi il est capital que chacun puisse accéder aux informations partagées avec les autres par l'éducation. Et cette maison, c'est la mission de l'UNESCO. Le deuxième point que je voudrais évoquer, c'est la proximité de Pacem en Terris avec l'acte constitutif de l'UNESCO. Je cite le paragraphe 48. Le détonateur de l'autorité doit faire appel, en premier lieu, à la conscience. Le paragraphe 71, la vie sociale est si variée que les dispositions juridiques apparaissent toujours insuffisantes et il ne s'appuie pas sur le consentement intime, la participation des citoyens. Cette vision résonne avec l'acte constitutif de l'UNESCO. C'est dans l'esprit des hommes que doivent être élevées les défenses de la paix. J'aimerais poursuivre en anglais maintenant. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. A peace based exclusively upon political and economic arrangements of governments wouldn't be a peace which could secure the unanimous, lasting, and sincere support of the peoples of the world. And peace, therefore, must be founded, if not to fail, upon the intellectual and moral solidarity of mankind. Fundamentally, UNESCO is guided by the conviction that peace cannot be decreed only in the treaties between governments. It must be nurtured through the dignity, rights, and capacities of every man and woman. Peace is a way of being. It is a way of interacting with others, a way of living on this planet. Our societies are ever more diverse today, and our cities are increasingly multicultural. But intolerance is on the rise, and fostering tolerance and social inclusion have never been more important. New technologies are opening tremendous opportunities for positive change, connection, and exchange. But it is also easier today to spread messages of hatred, to entrench stereotypes of others, of their culture and religion, to turn people against each other. Societies are more globalized than ever before, but they are also more fragmented. People are more connected, but they are also more vulnerable and lonely in the face of rising pressures. And as we know well, the fabric of society is quick to tear and long to mend. In this context, our position must be very clear. In ever more diverse societies, passive coexistence is not enough. We need stronger public policies, and we need wider dialogue to make diversity a positive force for respect and creativity. We must make our diversity work for us, not against, and we must channel the impetus of change by including everyone, by teaching new skills, new forms of what I call cultural literacy. This is why education is so essential. This is not about learning to read and write. Education is about values. It is about learning to live together. We need education to break the stereotypes and strengthen core principles, to combat violence and discrimination. We need education, as importantly, to reach everyone, to make no one is left behind, especially girls. UNESCO is working at all of these levels to promote intercultural dialogue and positive social transformation, to advance inclusion and equity inside societies. We need a new big push today for quality education and learning. This is important for the global education for all movement that UNESCO has led since 2000 to support countries enhancing their educational systems. This is the importance of the United Nations Secretary General Global Education First initiative, which UNESCO is steering forward and which focuses on equity, on quality, and on shaping new forms of global citizenship. Quality education is an essential human right. It is also a motor for sustainable development and peace. According to a report released only this week by the United Nations Food Agencies, some 842 million people suffered chronic hunger between 2011 and 2013. Can we really build foundations for lasting peace on such levels of destitution? Education provides the most solid foundations to overcome this. We estimate that 171 million people could be lifted out of poverty if students in low-income countries left school with basic reading skills. This would represent a 12% cut in world poverty. Gender equality is another foundation. In Kenya, for instance, if women farmers are given the same level of education as their male partners, their yields for maize, beans, and cowpeas increase by some 22%. Since 2000, we have worked across the world to widen access to basic education. Our next drive must be to improve what children learn in school. It must be quality and relevant learning. This is UNESCO's message. As the international community shapes a new global development agenda to follow the 2015 deadline for the Millennium Development Goals. Far too many students still leave school with minimal skills. As we speak, 200 million young people in developing countries haven't completed primary school. That is equivalent to the entire population of Brazil. In sub-Saharan Africa, 10 million children drop out of school every year. This is a lost generation in the making. And we know how the broken aspirations of youth can be a source of unrest. Access across the world, some 800 million adults remain illiterate. These challenges are exacerbated in situations of conflict. The last decade has been an increase in the level of attacks on schools. In 2009, there were more than 600 attacks on schools in Afghanistan alone. This is why UNESCO is working where needs are most acute. In Afghanistan, our programs are providing literacy to some 600,000 learners across 18 provinces, with women and girls as our core priority. In Iraq, we are supporting teacher training and the rehabilitation of higher education. In Pakistan, we are assessing the recovery of secondary and non-formal education in flood-affected areas. For Syrian refugees in Lebanon, in Jordan, and Iraq, we are working with the European Union to provide education in refugee camps. We do all this because giving children a chance to go to school is giving a country a chance for peace. We do all this because in conflicts today, schools and cultural sites are more than collateral damage. They stand on the front line and have become targets. This means also to build peace. This is where we must start, in schools and with our common cultural heritage. Last year in Timbuktu in Mali, during attacks against the city's mausoleums and mosques, a man said to be part of the extreme group Ansar Dine declared, and I quote, "There is no world heritage. It doesn't exist," unquote. For him, culture is narrowly defined. It is exclusive and static. We have similar visions of culture at work in other conflicts. We all recall the destruction of the Bahamian Buddhas in 2001 and the old Mostar Bridge in 1993 during the wars in the former Yugoslavia. Heritage is not about stones and buildings. It is about identities and belonging. It carries values from the past that are important for today. Attacks against cultural heritage are attacks against the very identities of communities. Warlords know this. They target culture because it strikes to the heart, because it fuels hatred and blocks future reconciliation. This is why we must start seeing cultural heritage as an essential for peace building, as an issue of core relevance to international peace and security. At UNESCO, we believe there is no chance to make between protecting human lives and protecting cultures, including religious sites, mosques, churches, and temples. Protecting culture is protecting people. It is protecting their way of life, providing them with essential resources to build and restore links when war ends. In 2001 in Libya, UNESCO contacted the coalition of states to urge all parties to protect Libya's cultural heritage during the military operation. Often the victims of war, culture can restore ties that have been broken. The return of the Aksum obelisk by Italy in Ethiopia in 2005 is a good example in which, as an Ethiopian, is very proud of. Today, UNESCO is helping Mali to undertake damage assessment and reconstruction. This also has entailed transmitting geographical coordinates of protected areas to military forces and recalling their obligation to keep heritage safe. UNESCO is working today to assess the damages in Syria. When cultural heritage is attacked, I would mention here also the Umayyad Mosque in Aleppo, the World Heritage Site damaged by severe bombing in Syria. Each of us are shocked. This is a loss to all humanity. When a cultural site is inscribed on the World Heritage List, like the Vatican City, one of the most scared places in Christendom, this attests to a great history and a formidable spiritual force that appeals to the whole of humanity. This reminds us all that we belong to a single family. This reminds us of the destiny we hold in common. It reminds us also that the struggle for freedom, like that of Haiti, which I started earlier with, is our common struggle. Haiti's history is our history. Our commitment to the common heritage of humanity is really an appeal to unity, regardless of all differences, on the basis of respect for diversity, guided by fundamental rights and freedoms. This is an appeal to all men of goodwill, as stated in Pacem in Terris. This is the idea driving the UNESCO World Heritage Convention. We sometimes take this for granted now, but the idea was and remains revolutionary. We know, of course, that culture and education alone are not enough to build peace, but the lessons of history are also very clear, that without culture, without education, peace cannot be lasting. The same spirit guides UNESCO's work to promote scientific collaboration, and I will just take one example, the SESME research facility based in Jordan. The SESME initiative is one of the most striking embodiments of UNESCO's idea in action. It is first a world-class research. This center brings together scientists from Israel, Iran, Jordan, Turkey, and also from Bahrain, Cyprus, Egypt, Pakistan, and the Palestinian Authority, and a number of observers. The center is a place where we're weaving together, thread by thread, day after day, the fabric of the intellectual and moral solidarity of humanity. All of these partners have decided to join forces despite other differences, guided by the aspiration to craft something greater than the national interest. This is important for the region. It is an example to the world. Across the planet, we need to build similar platforms for peace to foster mutual understanding, the exchange of ideas through transboundary initiatives to protect our shared heritage. This idea guides UNESCO's global network of biosphere reserve. We can harness the power of education, of culture, of the sciences to strengthen global intellectual and moral solidarity, to draw a new map of cooperation, to accelerate the free flow of the ideas, the free flow of exchange of mutual understanding. For this, we need to train teachers. We need to allow everyone to speak out and be heard. We need to protect our shared heritage. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the stakes are very high, and the green shoots of education, culture, and science may seem fragile in the turbulence of change. Let us be inspired here by the spirit of Pacem in Terris. Once a single person stands up for human rights, dignity, freedom in the world, this is an appeal to all humanity. When the call for justice, dignity, and freedom is heard everywhere in the world, this is an appeal to all men and women of goodwill. We are many billions strong. There is no turning back. The story of humanity in the 21st century, since the publication of Pacem in Terris, shows that tyranny and oppression, though they may arise, will surely not prevail. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Grazie mille.